All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am Lotro's Community Manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour, hanging out, having some fun, and I guess ushering in the start of 2022. On the development side here of the Lord of the Rings Online, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm in Gundabad. The Yuletide Festival's over. R.I.P. Yuletide Festival. You were fun. That was a lot of good times there in the Yuletide Festival this year. Hope you got your stuff. If not, well, there's always next year, is there not? We'll talk a little bit about events here in the coming weeks. Later in the show here today, we'll take a look at the release notes for next week. Yeah, we have a small patch for next week. I can tell you what's in it. And overall, we're just going to take your questions and do some questing in Gundabad, kind of getting back into the fate of Gundabad expansion as we sort of roll into development in our next raid and other things. So there we go. We got a lot going on. So welcome. Hope you're all having a good time. Welcome to your 2022. We all got back to work this week. As is the case really throughout the video game industry, the last week or so of December is basically everything shuts down. And it was on Tuesday, I guess, of this week that the vast majority of SSG came back to work. There were some people who, of course, had to work over break, if you had to work over break, etc. CS, for example, and a whole bunch of other people were actually working over break as well. Not me very much. I've been gone for a couple of weeks. So it was a couple of weeks off for me. Got a chance to recharge, spend some time with family, and have a really nice holiday. And now I'm back in 2022. At the same desk, same computer issues, but for the most part, doing very well here. And so, hope you are too. All right, where should we get started here? On our questions, anything else? Is the connection a bit unstable? Hopefully not. I will say this, though, that right where I live, we got about a foot of snow overnight. Yeah, there was no snow on the ground when I went to bed last night. And when I woke up, there's about a foot of snow on the ground. So if there's some internet spottiness, it's probably related to that. We are at the point where all the plows and that are out, but basically the whole area is shut down around me right now due to a winter storm. Doesn't matter to me, though. I'm working from home, and I got no plans for the weekend to go anywhere outside of a Sunday, so I guess it could snow all at once. Not going to matter to me. I'm going to be in playing the outro and other stuff, so there you go. All right. Have I read the Lord of the Rings books? I have. Several times, cover to cover. I don't know how many times cover to cover. I never really paid attention, but I started reading it in 6th grade and finished it cover to cover the first time then. And I read it at least once more in middle school, and then I read it once in high school, read it in college, and I've read it as an adult all the way through as well. I guess it was about 2013, 2014. So I've read the whole book through, the whole trilogy through, about a half dozen times. And then I've also read parts of the books a lot, particularly Fellowship of the Ring. I like Fellowship of the Ring a lot. I love the first third. I really do love that whole series, but particularly Fellowship of the Ring just clicks for me. And I enjoy it. I guess it's the chase. The chase is exciting. But anyway, so I've read that, gosh, probably 20 times or so. Read The Two Towers a little bit less and Return of the King a little bit less, but there's nothing wrong with those books. It's just how it goes. So. Have I gotten a chance to read your private message on the forums? Corey on Facebook asks. The answer is no. Not if it was sent after December 19th. I have been so busy that, as you can imagine, taking a couple of weeks off through the holidays and just actually not working. leads to a pretty full inbox if you are the community manager for 2 large online video games, such as I. So it has taken me all week long to dig out of my workload, really, and I haven't gotten to private messages yet. It'll probably be this weekend, because I don't actually have anything going on this weekend. I'm going to be cleaning up around the house, but I'm also going to get caught up on a little work, because I want to. So I'll probably read your private message this tomorrow or Sunday. Oh, however, Corey, I actually do know your specific case. There was a Lotro family that suffered a personal tragedy over the holidays, and they're looking for the community's help a little bit, and they've got to post an off-topic. I did see that, Corey, and I wish you and your family the absolute best. I hope everything works out for you. All right. Now entering Moria on Treebeard, noticing architecture touches in Moria that have the Three Peaks motif. Neat. Neat. Yep, yep. All right, let me go over onto Twitch. We are still working through our support backlog, and I do apologize for that. That is something that's going to be continuing for a little while here, but they are making progress. How can leveling characters acquire ancient scripts? At level 83, yeah, you're going to be challenged at that point. But you're going to be challenged at that point. But there are ways to do it, and there will be more ways coming with our legendary item reward track and such that'll be arriving here with update 32. All right, so I think I've gotten through basically all the immediate text, so let me go into a little bit of news here, pop up some stuff on the screen if I can, and what have you. So, first bit of news that I wanted to make sure I got to today is that we have, well, had, I guess it's still technically going, oh, I better take care of whatever it is that's attacking me quick. Hello, Bat. How are you? Alright. Alright. Back to it. I was rudely interrupted in Zitter and Assad at the steep set. There we go. Let me get back to it, however. And actually put up this page. Yeah. Reason being is there are notes from which to speak about. All right, there we go. All right, so we have Erebor Housing up for preview this week, and it's looking pretty good, so please do check it out. I know that we have had a bunch of people take a look at it, and it is pretty exciting. It is coming with update 32, and Erebor Housing is going to be pretty neat. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I believe Deco du Milieu has an Erebor preview that's pretty awesome that got released over the holidays. And you can read more on the Bullroar forums as well. We do have the new neighborhood consisting of 12 base houses, 1 base plus house. That's the fancy one. I believe that's the Geode house in this case, right? 6 deluxe houses and 1 kinship house. New features like private yards, cave day files, exterior music, a full suite of town services, swimmable gold coins, friends, enemies, and spectators to participate in a life-size game of chess or checkers, and some other things as well that you can check out. But I did also want to get to the notes. Some of this will be arriving next week. Let me just move my camera because of the rotation of this. Wah! Actually, wrong way. Wah! There we go. I could Star Trek it up here. Wah! Oof. Wow. Okay. Hunters Rapid Fire now properly reduces the cost of split shot. All task quest items now list the regions that they belong to in their description. The instances. Houses of Rest. Several damage over time effects were hitting for more than expected across the instance, and we've reduced them. Newly acquired Wayfarers, Travelers, and Adventurers gear available from loot boxes will now bind to account rather than character. We fixed an issue in Chapter 11.5 where a dwarf was falling through the floor. The name for the orders from Dushtalbook now correctly displays. Stats on the Restless Dwarf Lord Shimmering Stud instead of Pugalek's Den have been adjusted slightly. We're replacing critical defense on a whole bunch of items, and I'm not going to read off that full list. You can see it in the notes there, but you can see basically all the Restless Dwarf Lord items, Pugalek Den items, etc. The following quests involving Lord Elrond will be getting some High Elf specific dialogue. So if you've got a High Elf, you might want to check out that list as well. The following quests involving Aragorn are getting High Elf specific dialogue. Also, Glorfindel High Elf specific dialogue as well. Now, I believe I saw a few other notes internally on the release notes that I was putting together, and so I wanted to go over that, although I can't put it up on the screen due to the fact that it's still internal. But, yes, so here's some more things that will be coming in Update 31.1.2 next week. Tentatively something like next Wednesday. So for next week's patch. Also in Adzet Zakar, the Houses of Rest, the Tier 3 leading the charge deed will be active and available until 3 a.m. server time on March 2nd, 2022. Tier 3 leading the charge for Houses of Rest will be active as of next Wednesday, available until 3 a.m. on March 2nd. Health reduced for both Laknashra and Vethig. Vethig will use skills differently. Laknashra's Blizzard cast time is now slower on lower difficulties. Some skill damage reduced. Area of effect damage increased. Darkness Consumes now has a limited area of effect and does less damage. And a Houses of Rest reward vendor called Overseer has been added to Zidr and Assad, the steep set, so we're going to get a Houses of Rest reward vendor. These Scion buffs are being removed from enemies in Assault on Durstrock boss fights. They were erroneously being applied. And in Legend of Durin and the Twiles of the Dwarves, fix an issue where a dwarf in Chapter 11.5 could fall through the floor. Actually, we already did say that one. And then also we fixed the issue on Honor, where on Honor right now they can't get into the Vales of Anduin because it was set erroneously to a higher level break than the area should have been. That's going to be fixed in next week's patch as well. So if you're on Honor right now, you'll be able to access the Vales of Anduin as of mid-next week. And then we're also fixing a bunch of French and German text kind of scattered throughout. We have, I think, several hundred fixes, frankly, in there. Something like that. So general polish pass on translation going in as well. So I think that is most of the bit of news. Oh, the one bit of news that I could talk about, and let me get this page off the screen, for it has naught to do with Bullroar, but rather to do with Gundabad, and that is we have a Geode Boost. Yes, our Alotra bonus days this week is new. We've never had a Geode Boost before, and we do. For this weekend through January 9th. The way it works is you're going to find a lot more geodes in Gundabad, and the way it practically works is that there are areas in Gundabad that can spawn geodes, as you know, and when this boost is active, in those areas, there's going to be a whole bunch more spawn points. So the effect is you're going to get a lot more geodes, because there's going to be a lot more places to get geodes in these areas. You don't get like twice as many or something like that when you pick them up. Instead, there's just a lot more of them during these Geode Boost weekends. So anyway, it's a new one. You know, we always want to try to get new relevant bonuses out to people when we can. We've been a little limited on our bonus offerings and on the Lotro side compared to the other game. And one of the things we're hoping to do is find a few cool bonuses, so we thought this might be a good time and place to check this one out. Let us know if you like it. Let us know how you're geoding, rock collecting, mineral study, whatever. Let us know how it goes. Alright. Alright, before I completely get to questing here, I will be taking a look at chat while I quest, but let me let me move myself back. Wow! Oh my gosh. Wow, that's exhausting. All right, there we are. And then let me check one thing. There was one other piece I had up. Okay, so yes, in development, I just wanted to quick mention update 32 is really what we're working on full time as a studio right now. That we have a name tentatively set, but I can't tell it to you yet until we get it formally stamped. That'll be the Angle of Mathithel, with dozens of quests, and the Hidden Horde raid will be ongoing. Yeah, we're going to be having a raid coming. Erebor housing in Update 32, and then also in Update 32 we're doing some work towards the Spring Festival. I would not expect a big Spring Festival update this year, but we will be getting some new cosmetic rewards for the Spring Festival this year. And then the reward track will also be coming in Update 32 as well, and that is probably... It's on track to be previewed on Bull Roarer, most likely next week. So I think next week you will have your first opportunity to see the reward track in action, as it were, on Bull Roarer. So assuming everything works out here in the coming days, our plan is to get the reward track out to preview on Bull Roarer next week. And that's really where we are right now. In terms of when Update 32 is, I don't think I'm really ready to share that right now. But it's going to be something like early February, early-ish February. And then I think otherwise the only real bit of news is we are working on the events calendar. That should be published. I was hoping to get it done this week, but I just don't think I'm going to have time today. So I suspect the new public events calendar will be early next week. We'll have that listed. But we've got like a crafting boost, I think, next weekend as well, just to give you a little bit of a heads up. Also, quick note this week in terms of news, Shadowfax and Treebeard were updated. Isengard is up to level 75, and Treebeard is up to level 60 with the Mines of Moria. Shadowfax has Rise of Isengard. Alright, I think I have now cleared out all the news that I was going to say, so let me do a little bit of questing here and go through some chat. And I've got some hobgoblin wards to take care of on my way to the Pits of Stonejaws. That's what I'm doing. Alright. Can I speak about whether or not fixes for Den of Pugluk are in the works? The instance is somewhat of a mess, with some anti-exploiting, bugging out, and that sort of thing. I did not see anything in Den of Pugluk, as you just heard, in the release notes for next week. I'm sure that we do have some fixes to those issues incoming, though. So we do have Update 32 in the works here, the not too distant future. So, you know, I would expect to hopefully see some work in that regard in the near future. But not, as I understand it, at least for next week's patch. I haven't seen anything yet if it's in there. Alright, where am I going? Yep. Defeating hobgoblins, that's what I'm up to. Alright. Will there be new rewards coming to geode collecting in the future? There could be. There could be. I don't think I've heard of any. But, you know, it's certainly an active activity right now in the game. So I would imagine if we were looking for, you know, a place to add some new rewards, it certainly has to be on the list, right? I don't quite know, unfortunately, Deader Fiction, or sorry, I didn't quite get your name right. Talking about upgrading servers. I mean, we do have ongoing server work happening, yeah. I guess I'm not quite sure what level of scope you're thinking about there. But we are definitely, you know, lag has been and continues to be top priority for us here in early 2022. So, in addition to getting out content, that kind of work, optimizing our game environment, is been something we've been actively working on quite a bit. Actually, you know what? I do have one other bit of news that I could mention. I completely forgot about it as I was doing my show notes here today. But we are on the cusp of seeing a new Lotro.com. Right towards the end of last year's stream, I teased a work-in-progress version of Lotro.com. And that is actually still as it stands today. But we are in the process of... make sure I'm going the right way. We are in the process of very quickly getting ready to deploy it. So that could happen, potentially next week. Potentially next week, maybe. We'll see. But and there really is nothing public-facing about that. I mean, Lotro.com might be down for a few hours while we do the work, but since it's not impacting the forums, we don't really have to worry too much about kind of notification and stuff on it. It's just going to kind of happen, I think. But we are doing our final touches on it, like today and early next week. I'm going to be kind of loading in, getting a video section under wraps and all that sort of thing. So it's mostly there. We really are just at kind of a polish phase, and I'm sure we're going to do additional work, or we'll need to do additional work in the coming weeks as well, as we find things we forgot and what have you. But it's almost ready to go, and it's looking pretty good, so I'm pretty excited to show you the new Lotro.com. Among its benefits will be it's going to load a lot better. Thank golly gosh. Praise the stars. Anyway, but it's also going to look a lot better, be more functional, and what have you. Eventually, and potentially this year, we are going to update the forums as well. I know we keep threatening to do it and then not actually doing it. But that's mostly just because of other priorities that keep getting in the way. It is on our plan to do. And potentially that could happen this yearish. Could happen this year. So we'll see. That will be a process we'll need to make sure we give you more of a heads up on, and what have you, because it's going to involve probably creating new forum accounts for just about everybody. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but I think that is the reality of it. And I think that's probably going to be for the best, frankly. I know nobody wants to redo their forum account, but when it comes to the old Lotro forums, I have spent a couple of years now, and several different times, various efforts that started and stopped to evaluate and improve our forums. And the best scenario consistently through those results has been, oh my god, you have to start fresh. You have to start fresh. So I think we're going to start fresh. And what that'll mean is probably a couple of days where you're going to go in and grab your forum name again. And if someone yoinks it, well, we'll have to hopefully not have that happen. But if that does happen, then we'll have to just deal with it on a case-by-case basis and make sure you get your name if possible. If it was a griefing situation, like if you're a well-known forum person and all of a sudden, someone else has got the name Cordovan, then, we'll make sure that you get your name back. But otherwise, I would expect to see really just kind of a rush of activity for a few days. The old forums will stick around for the foreseeable future. No plans to actually get rid of it. And so you would be able to just kind of literally Control-A, copy-paste if you want that stuff. Okay, there must be down here, and I'm just not seeing it because I'm not on the stairs. But that should happen. That will make the biggest difference. A lot of when you log in, you get this white screen, and then you have to kind of hit refresh. Maybe it's just me. I don't think it is. I know it isn't. A lot of that is tied to the forums and the age and general decrepency. Decrepity? I don't know what the right term is for that. And I also think I went the wrong way. least I got a couple of routes out of the deal. I gotta go back up, don't I? Where is that ring of which I seek? Yes. Dogs 2018 asks basically if you're VIP, start on Legendary and lose your VIP, we don't get rid of your characters or anything like that. They're all still there. Okay, where are you, coin? What? Drastic action may be needed. Where in the world are you? Off this way, huh? Leads me to think back corner? Why are you not down there, though? Kefir asked about Warsteed Cosmetics and plans to kind of like completely redo their monetization. I don't know of any plans to do that, sorry. Let's see. That task item node is huge? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Any work on Warden's self-heals? Yes. I don't know that no work has been done as of today. That much I can say. However, yeah, as a matter of fact, we had a meeting this morning, and the subject of the meeting was, let's go through some of the prioritization work that's necessary related to class balance. And so, we are basically putting together a hit list, kind of re-hit listed, as it were, to see where we need to be and what we need to be working on kind of short term here, and really just kind of put together that hit list for future development. Brawler is clearly on that list. And a lot of the meeting itself was really about, okay, let's get on the same page regarding Brawler and see what we want to do there. But we did also talk about Warden self-healing, Warden in general, and some of the issues surrounding them, and just in general kind of started doing some of the work, which we will then also try to do things like validate with data, in addition to just sort of reading the forums and social media and all the rest in-game. And then put together some work that we'll hopefully do here in the future. All right. What do I got for questions? Let me check here quick. Will we have any use soon for our LI XP runes? Yes. That'll be coming with the reward track, and that is arriving with update 32 in February. Cord wants Lotro on the Atari VCS. I've already got it working on the VCS. I do. Well, kind of working on the VCS. There was a mini PC that came out about a year ago now, called the Atari VCS, and it's a mini PC, and I worked to get both DDO and Lotro working on it. And I both have them working in general, but there's an unfortunate crashing issue on that console specifically that I haven't yet resolved. But if I ever do get that crashing issue resolved, then I'm probably going to actually tell you how to do it too, if anyone's interested. But I don't think anyone necessarily would be. But it is kind of neat, so... All right, any plans to make VIP a bit better? Yes, I think. We do want to make sure that we retain the value of our VIP program, and we're always looking at things to do. And I think that we do have some thoughts, and hopefully we can move forward on some of them here in the near future. So, all right, so we're locating a fort, discovering the scope of their power, and perhaps slaying the warlord, which I don't think is going to happen this quest. But because of the mission's importance, Prince Durin has asked me to oversee it. You, Stampion, will also be instrumental. I have not come alone. taken on 3 apprentices I would like you to meet. Alright, so let's go chat with these 3 fine folks. Hi, Cluso.
I am Cluso of the Stoutax clan. Auzma has told me much of your skills.
I am Molka of the Zerruka. The others seem quite excited to work with you.
Alright, let's see. Kirstig.
I have heard a great deal about you. I am Kirsty of the Longbeards.
There you go. Alright.
My apprentices are an interesting assortment, to be sure.
So, sending you out into the caves to scout different areas of the Stone Jaws is this. Find the hobgoblin fortress known as Shakajat. Do not stray too near, lest you ruin the advantage of our surprise. Oh, you want me to be stealthy? I don't think that's a good idea, Scoutmaster Ausma. I am sorry to say. I don't think you want me to... I don't think you want that. Anyway, yeah, let me take a look at YouTube chat here. Let's see. Yes, related to lag in recent weeks, that has been something we have been looking at. You know, we were gone until this week, but we have been keeping track of that sort of thing throughout the break, gathering some data, and the people who were doing work related to it before break are continuing to do that work now after break, so...
Even the keenest blade is of no use to one so weary.
Fine. Cave Claws, defeat Drulkolf. The Slicer. Alright.
News do you bring?
Collect foul meat? Really? Okay. I'll do that.
Our need is dire.
Yeah, and then crystals. I can do that. I don't know about that meat, though. I kind of don't really feel like sticking rotten meat in my pocket. Just saying. Maybe there are better things for me to be focusing on. Where can you find recipes for brawlers? Sorry, I don't have an answer to that one. I'm so happy I picked up the Hunter. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. What about Legacy World Transfers? Gosh. I sure wish we had had those available by now. I really do. I recognize the frustration that you're experiencing. It is my hope that this will be the year that we see that happen and are able to bring back our transfers from our legacy game worlds. There is some specific technological work that's been holding it up, and the time to do that work has not been available recently, in part due to emergency kind of lag work and things like that. It is our hope to get to that, and we still want to do that, and we do intend to do that. And as soon as I know more, I will be happy to let you know more, but at the moment, I don't. All right. Level range for the angle. It's in the producer's letter. I don't remember that off the top of my head what we had said. I can't remember. Yeah, next week on the event schedule. I was hoping to actually get that done this week, but I've just had too much to do. Too many other priorities, and I've not been able to, unfortunately, get to it. And it is going to take 2-3 hours of kind of spreadsheet / transfer work. Maybe not even that long. Maybe a couple hours. But I don't know the time right now. But it's on my short list of things to do here in the coming days. So I would expect to see us see that happen really here in the next week. Whatever I can put together, at least for next week, I will. When will Veils be opened up on Honor? That should be arriving with a patch next week, 31.1.2 is its nomenclature. And that's set for roughly Wednesday of next week. Probably Wednesday of next week, unless something comes up. How do you download the Bull Roarer client? The links in the forums don't work for you. Well, they should work for you. That is how you download the Bull Roarer client, is through the link in the forums there. I can't offer you technical assistance right now, but hopefully someone could get that resolved for you. Alright. It's been a while. Is anyone still interested in those characters? Yes, actually. We do hear pretty regularly from people who would love to get those legendary, old legacy characters back. And that is something that we absolutely want to let them do. As soon as we can, we will. Alright, let me head over to Facebook. See what we got going here. I am not aware. Someone is saying on Facebook that I don't know if you just heard that from a rumor or what, that we're doing something to try to crack down on macros. That's news to me. I don't really know what you're talking about. If something's going on there, I guess I'm not really aware of it. Perhaps more information, though, would help me better understand what the question is. Oh, I don't want to mess with you, Froggy. You seem nice. Alright. Can I explain the Houses of Rest fixes better? Is it only the dots, not boss 2, huge AoE single target damage, no fix for boss 3? I think that is incorrect. Let me see if I can recall up what I got. So I have 4 release notes for update 31.1.2. That'll be set for middle of next week. For the Houses of Rest, I've got the following check-ins, the following changes already set for next week. There could be a few more things that come in between now and Wednesday, but at least as of right now, we're adding the Lead the Charge deed, active and available until 3 a.m. Server time on March 2nd. We're reducing the health for both Loch Nashra and Vethug. Vethug's skills are now going to be used correctly, which will, in effect, kind of reduce that damage a little bit. Loch Nashra's Blizzard cast time will now be slower on lower difficulties. Some damage over time effects that were hitting more than expected across the instance, so that involves bosses and mobs and all sorts of things, have also been reduced. Some skill damage and area of effect damage changed. Skill damage generally reduced. A couple areas where AoE damage has been increased. Darkness Consumes will have a limited area of effect and do less damage. And then we've got the reward vendor that'll be added to the steep set there. That's currently what we have set for next week's patch related to Houses of Rest. And I would expect if more work needs to be done there, that would be done probably for update 32 and would show up in the release notes there. All right. You do not see Bull Roarer on the server list in the launcher because it requires its own game client. It's not part of our regular game world rotation. So you need to actually download a separate client, which you can find on the Bull Roarer forums of the Lotro forums. All right. I could probably ride. Maybe I should be riding instead of running. Also, maybe I should go back. Nope. I'm going to go up this way. All right, let's get on my boar. Small question. Bare chest dwarf cosmetic only available for regular dwarf race on store and not stout axe. Is there a plan to make it available for stout axes? No. Sorry. We do not currently plan to make that available to stout axes. Okay. Where am I? What? Stone Jaws sample. So, what am I? Collect samples from exposed crystals in the pit of Stone Jaws. So I should? You're saying there's another crystal here? Or is that the same crystal I just used? Huh. Alright, give me a second. I'm going through Facebook chat. That's what I'm doing. Is there a reason you can't log into Lotra.com? Is Lotra.com not available right now? I know that they're... Okay, that is just that crystal then. Okay. So the next one should just be up around here somewhere. That would probably be off to the left here. Okay, someone is saying you have a bad email address when you try to register. You've been using the same email for over 10 years. I can't really... I have no idea. I have no idea why you'd be running into that issue. Especially if that email address worked in the past. Unless for some reason... Yeah, I honestly don't know. I have no idea why it isn't working for you. I'm sorry. However, if you do send in a ticket to community support through help.standingstonegames.com, I will be able to take a look potentially at that here. Oh, I already went to that one. Okay. Well, let us head this way then. Aha! I sneaked through your defenses! Not very well. Alright. Where can someone get the huge, gorgeous elk that people are riding around? And this would have been from Yuletide. That was from a year or two ago, right? Is the last time we had the elk steed available in-game? So I think it should still be available for Mithril, right? As of this past Yuletide? I think? Is that correct? Kind of just going off the top of my head here, but I think so. Hunters, any plans to make hunters viable for raids again? I mean, that's a pretty strong statement. I would say that, you know, especially as we're working on a new raid here, if we find that hunters need that work for... Hopefully we could get to it. But I guess I don't know that hunters are, quote, not viable in raids. I'm sorry, though, if you're being excluded. Hopefully there would be more that we could do there. Like I said, I think on the short term here, we're really going to be seeing us take a look at Brawler. Because, you know, we know that that's been some outstanding work since it was released with 30.3. And I would expect to see us perhaps maybe take a look at Warden in the short term as well. And maybe a few other odds and ends. But I think that that is, you know, the short-term plan there, so... By the way, I'm level 135 at this point. Not bad, huh? I'm kind of digging it. Been kind of digging it. Hope you're having a good time in Goondabout as well. I'll probably be spending the next couple of weeks here in Stonejaws. What I've been kind of thinking about doing is spending about 2 weeks per section just to do that rotation since it released. And then I'll probably focus on missions a little bit because I want to get the missions done. Did I just lose my door? Okay. Oh yeah, because it's just a warm-up. Alright. Yeah, I think I'm just going to kind of get back to where I was, if I can. So I'm sorry for the unsatisfying answer, perhaps, on the Hunter. Hopefully we can do more to satisfy your concern here in the future. I don't know that I've got anything, like I can't just sort of unilaterally say, yes, we will solve your problems with the Hunter, and there will suddenly be, your kinmates will want you back in raids or whatever. But hopefully we can do more there. Oops, let me take care of this. Okay. Easy enough. I'm actually going to go back the other way, however. There we go. Alright, back to YouTube. Let's see. Scratch my head if we might get dwarf captains soon. I like that. Sorry, I can't scratch my head, I guess. Because I don't think we are. Okay. You think brawlers could do more with self-heals? I think the general... Where we generally ended up on what we should be doing with brawlers, I think, conceptually, is maybe take a bump up a little bit of everything. You know, it's easier to bump things up than nerf things. And especially when you're debuting a new class and you want to hone in that balance, it's often easier to go a little bit on the lighter side, because you can always boost it up pretty quickly and easily later. So I do think we're going to see some of that happening with the Brawler, just kind of across the board. We'll see, I think, some general buffage. And then specifically as it relates to DPS, I think we're going to see some boosts here in the coming patches. I don't have an exact timeline for you. But I think that'll be the short term, and then a little bit of healing, I think, as well. But that's part of the overall little bit of everything to take a look at. So. You don't recall missions when you started 3 to 4 years ago. What are they? Yes. Well, that's because they didn't exist then. They arrived with War of Three Peaks. Is that right? War of Three Peaks? And they are sort of short, little private instances you can run solo or with 2 people. And you can find them. Probably the easiest place to get started with that will be Anat Corfu. Go find Anat Corfu, and that'll get you started there, hopefully with the missions.
What news have you?
Hey. Did I say 135? I meant 136. All warmed up, what do you have to report? I tell him Shakajat lies at the center of the Pit of Stone Jaws, little more than a dagger's throw from Bargstad. Good work. Now for the next step. Locate our warlord.
Now that we have the location of Shakajat, we need to gather more information.
Better than what I got. Level 131 enhancement rune. Okay. Okay. Alright. Do I still remember the stealthy skills? Well, I can't promise I'm going to be any more stealthy than I just was.
I'm eager to get started.
We only have 7 minutes here. I'm going to do this anyway. Alright.
Scoutmaster Auzma has taken the lead on a mission to infiltrate Shakajat and the seat of power of Warlord Dushtalbuk and his frost-bound hobgoblins. I noticed there are quite a few catwalks and scaffolding on the exterior of Shakajat.
Let me get back to Twitch chat. It's been a little while since I got to that while I try to carefully do this.
Keep an eye out for hobgoblins. I have to say, sneaking around the back instead of charging in the front goes against my long beard instincts. This way may be unguarded. Oh, you're quite high up.
Is the skirmish event up for a repeat in February? No. At the moment, I think we're going to take a bit of a holistic look at the Ill Omen skirmish event before we bring it out again. You know, based largely on your feedback, I think, and such there. But we'll see. We'll see. But it's not, no, I would not actually expect it in the short term, because I think we want to do a little more work on it, frankly, before we bring it back. I don't have an estimate on the arrival of bridles to the new LI system. Sorry.
Keep your eyes and ears open. We don't want
Oh my gosh. Orient Eternal 1? You also have a VCS? Alright, man. I didn't think there was another one of us out there. Well, that's exciting news. You should hit me up. I can show you how to at least get the client. I mean, the client, it's Windows, right? So I just downloaded the client and it basically just worked. I had to run the DirectX runtime installation to get it functioning, but I've been having an issue that may or may not be related to the way the VCS changes resolution adaptive, whatever. Because what seems to be happening is on a lot of load screens, it's just dumping to desktop without any warning, and it's very quick too, which is not like the stuck load screen thing. It's deeper than that. So I haven't quite got that one figured out. I think it's some kind of incompatibility with their tech. But if I get it working, I'll let you know. Because the reason I want it is it's nice, actually. Bit of a promo here, but see, this is what it looks like. It's nice and easy. You can fit it in your hand. And I actually was thinking if I could just grab a quick Lotro bill down there, pop it into a presentation TV or something like that, it might be an easy way to like do demo builds and things like that for Lotro. That's why I was trying to get it working, besides general nerdity.
You will find out where
Angle is 40 to 45. Thank you.
what they discuss in secret. If you fail me, I will gut you myself. Throw your innards to the Ukash. Now get out of my sight before I change my mind
Yes,
about
I believe some Stout Axe audio work is in the works.
generous warlord. I will not fail you. You had better not, Surgarat. Now go!
Do we have any way of knowing if gold spammers are dedicated or stolen accounts? Yes, is the answer. They are very much both of them. You'll have spammers that create account after account after account in order to try to spam, and you will see spammers who steal accounts and then use the proceeds for all sorts of nefarious purposes. So the answer is both, which is why it's really important that you not ever share your account information with someone, particularly not like, say, level up services or any of that kind of thing out there. Really not a good idea, because they will take your account and then they will use it to spam. That's how it works. You have no raid experience whatsoever, Phil asks on Twitch. What do people mean by viable? Wow, you could write a book probably on that. I tend to just, when I hear that phrase in the community, I tend to see as I am not feeling like I have a role in this piece of content, or due to the meta of that particular piece of content, the contributions that I make to more difficult instances and raids and things like that is not particularly valuable. So when I hear people say I'm not viable, it's usually either they're not feeling like they're welcome, or when they do get in there, they perhaps aren't having as exciting a role as they perhaps had in previous pieces of content. Or perhaps there's more of a balance and other reason for that. But that's so what do people mean by viable? I think people mean a whole bunch of things by viable. And it depends on the source of who's saying it. But I think if you were to kind of put that all on a spectrum and try to find some happy medium, I think you would largely get to what I said.
I am still wary that they have not shared their true motives. But I do not believe
The Spring Elk was introed in 2020, should be available soonish. Cool, thank you.
Keep an eye on them. And send for me when your gift is ready.
as you wish. Oh, and one more thing before I depart. I know you speak behind my
Also, the Further Adventures of Bilbo Baggins. Thank you for bringing that one up. That might be a great way to get a start on missions as well. They tend to be, it's a pretty linear story path. So if you just get to Rivendell and have the content and speak to Elrond, you should be able to run that. And that might be a good intro to missions as well.
The future of our kind is bleak.
Keep that in mind while you continue your petty squabbles with Gorgar.
How dare you speak that way to me?
When it says the time in game, can it also say server time as well? That would help European players a lot. Yeah, I can appreciate that. What they mean by server time is basically Eastern time, because our servers run on Eastern time.
Let's get out of here before we're seen. We can talk about what we've just learned back at camp.
All right, good timing, and it's now 1:01. All right, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I appreciate you being here today. We're going to continue our trek through the Pit of Stone Jaws, I believe, in the next week's show. And we do have a bunch in the works as well. I have actually heard from, I know, a fairly significant YouTube channel that does some Lord of the Rings stuff, that they want to do something for our 15th anniversary. And this is our 15th anniversary year for the Lord of the Rings Online. So I'm expecting to see some pretty exciting things happen this year. And we have a lot to talk about in the coming weeks and a lot to show you, including Erebor Housing, new raid, and Update 32. So thank you for being here, everybody. Hope you have a great Lotro weekend, and I will see you next week.